You have to understand who the police are. When they don't know who you are, let them understand who you are and quit getting belligerent, quit getting hype. You know what I'm saying? Calm down and say, hey, my name is Raul. I didn't know where I was going. I'm sorry, officer.
Tonight is indeed about both sides understanding each other. National Night Out started in 1984 to bring communities and their police officers together to band against crime and take back their streets. Since then, the annual event has grown to include 37 million people in communities all across the country.
We've transformed in how we do business. We're much more part of the community than we ever were.
Here in LA's Southeast Division, the National Night Out movement has been growing in spite of police and racial unrest in much of the country.
What I notice is an increase of people coming out and people really wanting to see and do things and kind of mending the relationships.
We can be one big, happy community striving together for the excellence of Los Angeles.
An enthusiastic standing ovation for Mayor Eric Garcetti, who stopped by to spend some face time with people on the street.
But it all starts with the community. One person at a time coming out of their home saying, these are our streets and we're going to reclaim them.
If we can get all the community to come as one, to work towards peace and understanding, that's what works for me.
Despite a recent uptick in crime, tonight at least, the kids, the families, the cops, even the dogs, all seem to be coming together and reclaiming their streets. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Communities across LA held National Night Out, including downtown LA and Hollywood. And social media played a big part as law enforcement and folks around the country shared their special moments of National Night Out. That's the focus of This Week in Tweets. LAPD's Ruby Malachi posted some photos of the evening, writing hashtag National Night Out at LAPD Rampart. It's great to take part in this incredible community building event. Councilmember Jose Huizar shared his own photos, tweeting, National Night Out is about law enforcement coming together to make our neighborhoods safe. While Felipe Fuentes met residents in Sylmar, posting, thanks LAPD Captain Todd Chamberlain for keeping our neighborhood safe. And on the East Coast, New York Police Department posted a pic of an officer jumping rope with some girls, writing National Night Out, promoting police community through dialogue, sharing food, raffles, and jumping rope. And that's a look at This Week in Tweets. While gang violence spills over into social media, a former LAFD chief pilot is honored, and LA heeds the call for water conservation. All these stories and more in City Beat. Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck addressed a recent upswing in gang-related shootings in South LA that left one man dead and a dozen people injured. During a news conference, the chief said that the violence stems from a long-standing feud between rival gangs, not to postings on social media. Social media posts with hashtags 100 Days, 100 Nights and Pray for LA suggested a possible increase in gang activity. Beck said the violence has not been linked to social media.
We have not seen any increase in events that we directly tie to this, but we're looking very closely at it.
The city of LA has met and surpassed Mayor Eric Garcetti's goal of 10% water reduction by this summer. Since the rollout of the mayor's executive directive in October 2014, LA residents and businesses leaped to action by altering water use and taking advantage of conservation rebate offers by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. The city of Los Angeles reduced its daily per capita water use by more than 13% this year when compared to the same time last year. The mayor encouraged folks to keep saving the drop, saying every bit counts. Councilmember Mitchell Englander joined Los Angeles Fire Department Chief Ralph Terrazas to dedicate the West Hills helicopter landing area in honor of former LAFD Chief Pilot Glenn V. Smith, who passed away in 2011 after a battle with cancer. The West Hills site is one of the city's 32 helispots, which serve as landing areas for LAFD helicopters to take on fuel and water or evacuate patients. Officials also announced the beginning of the fire department's annual $3.5 million 150-day contract for the Erickson Helitanker, a large helicopter capable of dropping 2,600 gallons of water, more than 7 times the amount of LAFD helicopters at a time on wildfires. LAFD Chief Pilot Glenn Smith was twice awarded the LAFD's Medal of Valor during his long career with the department and was the first African-American pilot at the Los Angeles Fire Department. Department of Recreation and Parks Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo and community members gathered recently for the grand opening ceremony of Patton Street Park and Community Garden. The new features include meandering walkways, fitness equipment, boulders for climbing, and safety surfacing surrounding a shipwrecked boat and octopus that children can climb on. An open play area houses a 4-seat merry-go-round, pendulum swing, and a small sand pit. A 19-foot-long custom metal slide is accessible by steps or boulders and whisks users from the upper park area to the lower. The far northern portion of the park is dedicated for use as a community garden. Additional park amenities include drought-tolerant landscaping, high-efficiency irrigation system, security gate, LED lighting, and community-designed mosaic art on custom seat walls. Patton Street Park is the 33rd park to open as part of the city's 50 Parks initiative. An urban dance event where performers dance their heart out, a musical celebration of a famous bunny and his Looney Tune pals, and a street event that highlights a unique LA neighborhood. All these in this week's Things to Do. World of Dance Tour is the largest urban dance event that has now become the most authentic international touring dance competition of its kind. Currently consisting of 15 U.S. domestic dates and 15 internationally licensed regions, World of Dance focuses on the art of street dancing and today's new age choreography. The world's best top dance troupes, hundreds of participants, and thousands of spectators enjoy performance festival settings where creativity is displayed and rewarded. While competing dancers are judged ever so closely, the spirit of each event is that of community over competition. Come watch the LA and World Finals as international groups participate in a global celebration acknowledging the world's best dancers at the Los Angeles Convention Center on Saturday, August 15th and 16th from noon to 10 p.m. For more, visit worldofdance.com. Warner Brothers presents Bugs Bunny at the Symphony 25th anniversary. Join Los Angeles Philharmonic for a look back at 25 hilarity-filled years. Bugs Bunny and his Looney Tune pals have teamed up with live orchestras, playing those phenomenal scores, bringing audiences to their feet in laughter, cheers, and applause. The official Bugs Bunny at the Symphony anniversary party takes place at the Hollywood Bowl, where you'll see and hear Warner Brothers' greatest animated shorts, plus exciting surprises. Expect favorites like What's Opera, Doc?, The Rabbit of Seville, and Zoom and Board, as well as the live orchestra world premiere of Long-Haired Hair. Check it out on Saturday, August 15th. For tickets and information, visit hollywoodbowl.com. And watch your favorite bands play for free during Echo Park Rising, a neighborhood event in its 5th year that focuses on the music, creativity, diversity, and small businesses of Echo Park. There are multiple stages and activities throughout the weekend located on main routes of Sunset Boulevard, Glendale Boulevard, Alvarado Avenue, and Echo Park Avenue. In addition to the lineup of artists performing, shops, galleries, restaurants come together to celebrate the vibrancy of this eclectic boulevard. On August 14th through the 17th, more than 300 bands will descend on the neighborhood of Echo Park for one weekend of free outdoor shows. For more, visit epr.la. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Daddy, this isn't going to hurt me one bit. Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Shapiro in beautiful Encino, and you're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel. Open wide.
Sergeants, please call the members. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday, August 12th. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Mr. Clerk, we have a quorum. Could you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bona Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Fuentes, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Corian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Price moves, Harris, Dawson seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Biden moves, O'Farrell seconds. That brings us where?
Mr. President, there are requests to continue items 18, 19, and 33 to Wednesday, August 19, and items 1A, C, D, H, V, AB, AC, and AD to August 26th.
Okay, so without objection, Mr. Fuentes.
Can we also add item 1Z as in zebra?
1Z as in zebra.
And so that will 1Z will also be continued to August 26th.
Okay, so without objection, that'll be the order. Okay, let's go through the agenda.
Very good, sir. Items 1 through 7 are items noticed for public hearing, and when considered, items 1F, N, X, and AE should be received and filed inasmuch as the liens have been paid in full, and item 1Y should be received and filed inasmuch as the lien has been partially rescinded and paid.
Okay, so without objection, that'll be the order. Do we have cards?
Yes, sir, we have cards on item 1.
Let's hold that. Let's vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. Having a little technical glitch here. Just bear with us.
11 ayes.
Okay, let's move on.
Items 8 through 19 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Specials members, 8 through 19. Mr. Blumenfield.
If you could hold number 17 for Mr. Englander.
Let's hold item 17. Members, any other specials? I do not see any. Let's prepare to vote on these items, Madam Clerk. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That brings us where?
Mr. President, that ordinance will go over 1 week for a second consideration unless reconsidered later today.
Okay, and just when we get 12, remind me.
Very good, sir. That brings us to items 20 through 31. There are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do we have cards?
Yes, sir, we do. We have cards on 26, 28, 29, and 30.
Let's hold 27 as well. Members?
Also 20 out.
I'm told we received a card on item 20 as well, sir.
Okay, let's hold that too, and let's prepare to vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, that brings us where?
Mr. President, that brings us to items 32 through 35. They're items scheduled for closed session. Would you like to hold them on the desk?
I think we should hold them at this point until I have an opportunity to talk to the chair of Budget and Finance. So that brings us where?
Mr. President, that brings council back to presentations or items called special.
It's my understanding, Mr. Koretz, you would like to introduce someone to this body?
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. I'd like just to take a couple moments to recognize a very special visitor we have with us today. I'm honored to welcome Ann Bernstein, who just celebrated her 100th birthday. Let's give her a big hand.
All right. Happy birthday.
Actually, it was a few months ago. She was born on April 1st, 1915, in Vilna, Lithuania. She moved to Wheeling, West Virginia when she was 7, moved to Pittsburgh when she was 13, where she met her husband, the late William Bernstein. They were married over 50 years and settled in LA in 1943. They have 4 children, 10 grandchildren, 21 great-grandchildren, and some of them are with us today. And she is very well known in the community, very committed to education in Los Angeles, and particularly Jewish institutions. And she has supported B'nai Reuben, Yavna Hebrew Academy, Rambam, Eula, Maimonides, Hillel, Shelchevet, Yeshiva University, Amit, Bar Ilan, Kerem B'Yavna, and Ponevez. And moreover, in May, she was the honoree at the Shelchevet Gala. And so on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I'd like to welcome her and present her a certificate. But first, if we could ask her to say a few words, that would be great.
Thank you very much. I didn't expect this at all. And it's nothing of my own doing. And how I reached the 100, I will never know, except that I was smart enough to marry the right man. And that did it. What else do you want me to say?
Whatever you like.
Right?
No, I really didn't expect this at all.
Yeah. I just think it's important to note my grandmother came here with my grandfather in 1943. And they came out here from Pittsburgh. They relocated because my grandfather had terrible asthma and couldn't stay on the East Coast. And where else do you go? But beautiful, clean air, Southern California, and 1943. And they started here in the toy business, and ultimately he had built up. He was the largest wholesaler of toys in the Southwestern United States, and started from nothing. And just for them to be able to have gone ahead and built the business, a life, and a family here in Los Angeles was just tremendous, and we're thrilled to be a part of it. We're thrilled to be here today. So thank you, everybody. And
Thank you. Family surrounding me, part of my family. I must tell you this. I went through something like very similar, but nothing as elegant and everything, in Jerusalem with the mayor.
Oh, wow, I didn't know
And we had a marvelous time. And he pinned me. And I said to him, do you know what that means? Did your wife give you permission to do this? Anyhow, I'm very happy. My grandson arranged this. And Stanley, where is Stanley? And Stanley, I knew when he was a little boy, and I don't know when he got old, but he got old.
Well, you know, Mr. Koretz, first of all, I want to say I'm glad they could have chose any other city coming from Pittsburgh. I think Los Angeles is better because the family chose us. And Mr. Rue, I have you on the queue to say a few words.
I just wanted to say, Miss Ann Bernstein, happy birthday, happy 100th birthday. And I really want to thank Councilmember Paul Koretz, because actually, Ms. Bernstein is a resident of my district, which I'm so proud of to say.
With the 100 years. Somebody else planned it for me.
Let him talk. Go ahead.
So happy birthday, and I really want to thank Stan Tritel, a community leader in Council District 4, for helping arrange this. But again, happy birthday, happy 100 years young.
All right,
Thank you all.
Okay, we do have 12 members. Let's reconsider item 8. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
So now item 8 is before this body. Let us vote again on the actual item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, Mr. Englander.
No, he's up here.
He stepped back in.
Come on. You guys get close. You're going to be on TV. All right.
Mr. President, colleagues, this is one of the most exciting presentations that I'm honored to give each and every year. This is the 3rd year that we're doing this. 3 years ago, we created the E12 Excellence in Public Service Leadership Development Program. If you could say that really quickly. The E12 Excellence in Public Service Leadership Development Program to train and cultivate our next generation of young leaders in our community. Throughout the summer, this entire summer, these young folks gave up their summer. These high school students learned the ins and outs of the city, how the public, private, and non-profit sectors intersect and collaborate to solve our community issues and problems. The students learned the basics of city services by identifying issues in our community and reporting those specific requests directly to 311 and the various city departments. The students also learned to interpret and utilize census data and the importance of understanding our constituency to improve service delivery models for all the residents and businesses throughout the 12th District. In fact, beyond the office and getting outside of the walls of our office, they volunteered at the Wilkinson Senior Center to interact with seniors through a fun intergenerational brain exercise and activities. The students volunteered at New Horizons to learn about the personal and vocational training provided to individuals with physical and developmental disabilities. And they also volunteered at the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, facilitated an art activity with the residents of the homeless shelter. They've toured City Hall. They've gone down to Joe Buscaino's district, down to the harbor, to learn about the port and the goods movement and what and how the goods create such a huge economic engine with nearly 44% of all the goods that come into this country, and toured all of that. They've met with various departments, including public safety, and today, in fact, on their last day, most people would come here for a presentation, take the tour, and probably walk to Alvera Street for lunch, which hopefully they'll do as well. But it doesn't end there. They're actually going to go with the city attorney and the city attorney's office to go sit in on trials and watch the proceedings as the city steps up to defend ourselves and the taxpayers. It's pretty cool. The caliber of the students for this year's E12 program was exceptionally high. And I'd like to recognize each and every one of the individuals that can make it down here today. Unfortunately, 2 could not make it today. Jalen Shin from Sherman Oaks Center for Enriched Studies. Let's give each one of them a round of applause. Jalen. Richard Maharez from Granada Hills Charter High School. Kyle Alfaro from Granada Hills Charter High School. Esther Cho from North Hollywood High. Elizabeth Paz from Cleveland High School. Luis Gallardo from Granada Hills Charter High School. Harrison Ryu from North Hollywood High. And Ethan Schwartz from Cleveland High School. Let's give them all a huge round of applause. This is so important. Training the next generation, our young leaders in our community, we're multiplying the impact that we all have. These highly motivated and ambitious students are truly going to go on to excellence and hopefully come back once they finish college to take a seat around the horseshoe or even do something even greater. This could not be done with the help of my staff. And in fact, 4 years ago, one of my staff members came to me with the idea. And she said, you know, I want to take on a project where we have a competition for young students, for young leaders, our next generation to get involved in the community, to get involved and learn civic participation and philanthropy, to learn what it means to give back to the community that we were born and raised in. And Semi put all this together, came up with the curriculum, came up with a very tough, stringent, she's tough as nails. Let's give Semi a round of applause. I want to single her out. A very tough requirement for these young leaders to actually apply. It's very competitive for them to get into this program, and has taken it over and just run with it and does a phenomenal job. So thank you so much for everything you do. Really appreciate it. And with that, I'd like to give all of them a huge round of applause from all of us. Thank you all very much. You can stay here for a sec. There's more. I got two special people that I'd also like to single out. You know, often all of us have summer interns, and we're blessed to have interns throughout the year. We're blessed to bring in young leaders, college students, high school students, that give up, again, their summer, their time, particularly those who are away at school and then come back here to be with their friends and family. But instead of going out during the day or at night or on the weekends, they come volunteer. They become great interns and the backbone of our staff and our community. And I had two very special ones this summer that have done a phenomenal job. Nicholas Melvin, who recently graduated from Taft High School, he'll be attending Ohio University and will be studying political science and minoring in literature, was instrumental in the success of our inaugural art walk on the first great street in the city of Los Angeles on Reseda Boulevard. I'd like to recognize Nicholas at this time as well. Let's give Nicholas a round of applause. And we have certs for all of them, and I want to give our two interns theirs real quick, and we'll go in the back for all the others. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. And another very special person that we had in the office, Jordan Pitcher. He's attending the University of Nebraska, and he's majoring in math and minoring in Spanish. He's been our policy research intern working on public safety and economic development issues. And I got to tell you, I'm so proud of him as well. Some of you might recognize his name if I could shout it out. He's also part of the city family. His dad is Commander Pitcher, former Captain Pitcher, and Chris Pitcher is also a dear friend. Jordan has been spectacular. Smarter, brighter, taller, and better looking than his father. He's really, truly going to go places. Jordan, come on up. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, let's give all of our special volunteers, interns, and E12 leaders another final round of applause. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you,
all
Mr.
for everything you do. Thank you. All right, we're going to go in the back. All right,
Mr. Krikorian, it's my understanding we could handle item 32.
Yes, Mr. President. Item 32 is a settlement that we, unless members have questions or concerns, Budget and Finance recommends approval of the City Attorney's recommendations.
Okay, so on item 32, Mr. Clerk, do you have to make an announcement? Then make it.
Yes, sir. For item 32, and the case is entitled Stephen J. Manning et al. Versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation for settlement in the amount of $99,200.
Okay, no members on the queue. Let's prepare to vote on that item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, that is approved. We're going to move to item 20. Mr. Previn, we are on item 20. Please come forward. Item 20. I do not see Mr. Previn. Oh, come on.
Thank you, Council President Wesson. It is Eric Previn, a resident from CD2. And this item 06-2265-S2 does pertain to CD2. It's out at the juncture near Cartwright Avenue and Magnolia Boulevard. And this is the number 3 lighting district, sir. So what we're doing is I looked at it a little bit closely. It's hard to fully make sense of these things, but what we're doing is we're making an assessment, and it appears that $278.02 will be the assessment going forward. The group that owns the property that I believe is either paying for it, and this could, maybe the council member could make some clarifications, a group called NoHo Lux LLC. They're based in my district, actually in Studio City, a bit further up on the hill in the Donas, but that's a group who do identify, they're one of the LLCs, you could actually figure out who they are, and they are J. Naji Rashid, Henry Span, Adi Harari, and Zida Danielle. I don't know those folks or anything about it, but are they the ones paying that assessment, or will it be shared by the little group in the community, a number of addresses? Because I can't tell if they're the applicant or not. You know, this looks like the kind of stuff that we see in great volume down here. There is a lot of it, and it may be that this is just the ordinary protocol, but this, I think, is noticing that there will be a hearing so that folks who do either live in the area where this is taking place out on Cartwright or Magnolia, or are aware of why this kind of thing might be happening, could attend that hearing when it is properly posted. And I can assure you that the city clerk is very, very good about posting those things. So I'm not sure where the city clerk posts those things, but I'm sure that somebody could figure that out. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll. Oh, wait, I have, no, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Now we're going to take up item 26, and I have a card from Mr. Walsh. Mr. John Walsh, please come forward. Item 26.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. After me, Dollhouse Dude. These concern, again, this is item 26, REAP, Rent Escrow Account Program, where you do an excellent job. If there's something out of code in my apartment, all I do is, and the owner doesn't repair it within a certain amount of time, a reasonable amount of time, then I go to the city, and no longer do I pay my rent to the landlord. I pay my rent to the city. And occasionally somebody gets on here that doesn't belong on here, and when they come up here, they are removed from this list. You have done a fairly good job, not in rent control, you haven't done anything in that, but as far as renters' rights are concerned, the City Council and the mayors since Bradley, who did an excellent job, are doing well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Your card came in after the conversation began, Mr. Akala. Okay, the next item. Mr. Fuentes, I'm sorry.
Mr. President, I'm sorry. Can we go ahead and continue item 1U for 2 weeks as well?
Okay, Mr. Clerk, that'll bring us where? And that's item 1U at Mr. Fuentes' request.
That brings us to August 26th, sir.
Okay, so without objection, that'll be the order. Mr. Price, my understanding you want to present some leaders of tomorrow to our body?
I do, Mr. President. It's really an honor to celebrate our young people. And I got a group of students from the New Ninth. Give us a stand up. There you go. From the New Ninth, representing Rise High, Accelerated Schools, Santee, All People's Community, other schools in the area. And they've been embarked on an exciting entrepreneurial training program over the next 5 days through speakers and field trips, learning about what it takes to not get a job but start a business. And so we're just so excited that they are here with us today at City Hall. They're going to be talking to experts, talking to business owners, talking to professionals, and really learning firsthand from hands-on experiences what it takes. And so I just want to celebrate them. You know, we hear oftentimes that kids aren't serious, that they're getting in trouble. This is a group of young people that are committed to, concerned, involved, leaders in their schools and the communities, and we know that they're going to be successful in whatever they do. So let's give them a hand.
Yeah, and welcome to City Hall. And we wish you all success. I'm going to put the camera back on them for a little while. Can we do that? Let's get some close-ups. I want everybody to smile.
Mr. President, also, if I can just acknowledge Dorothy Randall from the office, who has just an extraordinary job in coordinating this. And we have parents that are here.
Well, let's applaud the parents and Ms. Randall
that have been engaged all week, and we appreciate them as well. Let's give them all a hand again, please.
Thank you. Item 28. On item 28, I have Mr. Herman Wanakala. Item 28. Please come forward. Please come forward. Oh, and I have a card from Mr. Walsh as well. So if I could get Mr. I guess Herman is first. Okay, sir.
Once again, do Black Lives Matter? A $50,000 information leading to the identification and apprehension. How many times will we hear the outcry of Black Lives Matter? Do our children, our youth deserve some lifespan rather than have a reward on their heads? And if they become snitches, they get stitches for simply trying to be proactive, but you endanger our children by this reward process. Why don't you hire our police officers, the LAPD, by first giving them a raise so they can actually do their job without the added pressures of being an LAPD police officer? The same way you gave yourselves raises. This way, that time increment of that pay raise that promised by Eric Garcetti would help improve their ability to protect and serve us in our community. So the shooting at Ponce on June 21st, 2015, this offer of reward information goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. Dion, how many have you settled? Not one. That's how ridiculous this $50,000 reward is. And it's a damn shame that we have to coerce people to be rats or snitches. If people really believe that you would protect them, they would probably come out and be a good Samaritan. But on behalf of those that are afraid of you and your lunacy, I find it absurd. I just can't better put it in words other than say that if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Take it.
Mr. Akala.
I'm practically in the same boat because more often than not, when I see a crime being committed, it's by the police. They're beating up on a poor homeless person.
But this is about a...
Black Lives Matter. It's a reward.
This is about a reward motion, Mr. Akala.
Because the police are not protecting us. They're beating us up. That's what it means. Remember, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
No, he's not talking about this item. You got to stay on the item, Mr. Akala. That's all. You just have to stay on the item.
Offering rewards all over town, but did you watch TV last night?
You're off the subject. I'll warn you one more time.
Did you watch TV last night?
You need to stay on item 28.
The item is that you're offering rewards for crimes that will never be reported because people are afraid. And they're more afraid of you people than anybody else. You know why? because you're taking our livelihood away. You are.
Stay on the subject.
Subject is you got to stop being a bunch of idiots.
No, you're off the topic. Thank you. Your time's expired. And now you're disrupting. You need to stop that. Okay, Mr. Walsh. He's continuing to disrupt. One more warning, Mr. Akala.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Jay Walsh, confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. I mean, every meeting you throw up another big reward, $50,000. This is for the shooting of someone named Amilcar Ponce on June 21st. The LAPD is telling you to offer a reward. Let me tell you right now. You got one drunk driving award. That's different drunk driving. And it was a white man that ran over another white man in Century City, when Koretz district. Other than that, you are afraid to tell us, and you refuse, you racist scumbags, to tell us how much money you have up there in rewards. And I believe it's about $2 million. There's over 100 people. Almost all of the people who were killed are minority. And no one's going to say a darn word, because snitches get stitches, and you'll get your throat slit if you tell anybody who killed Amilcar.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Okay, let's move to item 27. Mr. Herman.
And, Mr. President, amending motion 27A has been circulated.
Thank you. Mr. Herman, item 27. Start his time if he doesn't pay attention. Mr. Herman, come on.
What do you mean if I don't pay attention, Herb?
You're disrupting the meeting now. I called your name. Report to the podium.
Take an X-Lax, relax.
No, you stay on the subject.
Sometimes people's mouths are like water. They just keep running off.
Okay, you're off the subject. Hold his time. Mr. Herman, you get off the subject again, you will forfeit your time. Stay on the subject. Go right ahead.
Heil Hitler.
You're off the subject. Thank you very much. Now you're doing it again. You won't stay on the Okay, thank you, and you're disrupting the meeting again. Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
That brings us to item 29. Mr. Koretz, I'm sorry.
Mr. President, could I take just 15 seconds to make a very, very brief presentation?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. The floor is yours.
I'd like to acknowledge Evan Robinson, my intern until now, who is just leaving us, but he's done an amazing job. And I always thought he was a senior in college, and he's actually a senior in high school and has done remarkable work. Usually our high school interns are not quite as capable. He's as good as anyone we've ever had. So I just wanted to...
Wonderful. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. And good luck in the future. Okay, now we're going to go to item 29. Item 29, I have Miss Antonio Ramirez, Mr. Walsh, Mr. Previn, and Mr. Akala. 29.
Thank you very much.
No, you're disrupting again. Go ahead, Ms.
This is the economic and workforce development departments are a great thing. They are a wonderful thing and a useful thing for many who are unemployed or for a variety of reasons, for learning or in enhancing their educational abilities. It's a wonderful thing that many corporations like the Dunbar Village Retail and many others have pitched in and help edify the community and make the people whole. I just wish that they would have a section within this community and this workforce development department where they could just focus on the military veterans the military. Help guide the military. Again, not only in enhancing and procuring jobs, but also helping them access housing and further in their GI Bill, getting into school and taking several other courses, like maybe workshops and maybe treatment centers. I don't know. I think it would be a wonderful thing for our military veterans who are homeless, who are just sitting in the Grand Park doing nothing.
Let's stay on the subject.
So again, this total amount of $500,000 in the community development block grant funding is wonderful. But again, City Attorney, I wish you would draft an ordinance that would focus on helping more the military veterans.
Thank you. You got to stay on the item.
We have many gangs. Deport the gangs. They have no...
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You're off the subject. Mr. Walsh. Item 29.
John Walsh at HollywoodHighlands.org. Let me see, just reading from here, this is what they do. Dunbar Village Retail. It's a business. They cannot take these federal funds, this community block grant funding, as a retailer. So they set up a nonprofit, and then this nonprofit, this Dunbar entity, holding company for this project, receives $1.5 million in community development block grants because they know who to grease in the city. I don't know if they're selling alcohol yet. I don't know whether they have an alcohol permit, but they will. So I just want you to realize that LLC has replaced Dunbar Village LLC as a Dunbar Village project entity. Poof! Hollywood Highland.
Greetings, Council President Wesson. It is Eric Previn from CD2, and this is a respect-based inquiry for the new 9. Because I think that Mr. Walsh is fairly close to accurate. He is very, very astute about city government. And these are CDBG funds, which for some reason were $500,000 was issued. Of course, we all understand why, because it was a not-for-profit. They were going to start a restaurant in a district that is in need of such environments. What has occurred today, or what is being noticed now, because the EWDD, that's the Economic Workforce Development Department, has brought it to our attention, is now there will be a group called Dunbar Village Retail LLC, which is in fact a for-profit entity. So there's nothing wrong with profit, sir. I don't need to remind you. But I do think that it raises some questions about is this permissible? And I know that the city attorney is mostly focused on people staying on point or not. So this is an on-point question, sir. Do you know, Mr. City Attorney, if it is your purview, is that permissible? It certainly feels to an ordinary resident who is not steeped in these matters sleazy to inappropriate, verging on potentially improper. I don't know. Certainly with 15 votes, almost anything can be approved in this hall, as we've seen. So regardless of whether or not it teeters very, very close to the edge of legality or propriety. So I would just ask that Mr. Bonin, who's certainly versed in these matters, could take a quick look, or some of these. Mr. Krikorian has turned away very appropriately. Well, somebody has to look at this, and it's not coming from any place other than the public wants to ensure that if we're giving away $500,000 to a not-for-profit, it is a not-for-profit. Because if we're giving $500,000 to a profit, that's a different proposition, and I guess that is what's before this body. So thank you for your vote and for your interest. And by the way, I'd like to thank Mr. Fuentes for a correction this morning about the number of homeless. So he's a good man. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Akala, item 29.
You know how boring this place is?
Stay on the subject, Mr. Akala.
Damn. Every time it's like somebody's doing something, pretending.
You're not on the subject. Stay on the subject.
Yes, these guys are trying to pretend they're a non-profit organization. And I wish to hold my time to 1 minute, because I don't know.
No, you're not on the subject. Get them back on the subject.
The subject is sleazy people that want to be rich, helping the rich get richer. That's what the subject is. And you are the sleazy wannabe rich people helping the sleazy rich people, like Dunbar.
Stay on the subject.
And whoever the hell they are, Dunbar and whatever.
Mr. Acala, please stay on the subject.
Yeah, remember, they're going to want alcohol license.
Thank you. You're off the subject. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's prepare to vote. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Mr. Krikorian, I think we may want to go to item 34. Miss City Attorney, would your people... So what do you need, a few more minutes? Why don't we wait just a few more minutes? Why don't we're going to hold off on the other item. We're going to go to item 30 now. I have Mr. Walsh, Previn, and Ms. Ramirez on item 30. Please come forward.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, and I have an item card in for item 34 also. This is accepting a grant. This is so ironic. A grant award of $5,000 from the Violence Prevention Coalition of Greater Los Angeles. This is a city where blacks, Africans from Africa, they're shot down in the street by cops. Everybody in the world knows that you have a hunting license to kill black people in this city. And of course,
stay on the subject, Mr.
Someone
Walsh.
is giving you a $5,000 award for Violence Prevention Coalition. I think you should give this money instead to Black Lives Matter. That's what you should do with this money. This city is a national, international disgrace.
Okay, I think I have Mr. Previn next. And they tell me you have 1 minute left. But Mr. Previn.
Thank you. It's Eric Previn, a resident from CD2. So in December 2014, it was Blue Shield of California, the foundation that they run, that awarded the Violence Prevention Coalition of Greater LA a grant to address the relationship between domestic violence and gang violence, which obviously is a scourge. We have a little committee named after such a thing. This is very, very important. And so I appreciate the gesture. It is $5,000, and the money is going to the city attorney. So that is not my favorite recipient, given all of the needs. I think I understand why that would be, but I do think that that falls beneath a standard. And I think that the Blue Shield group needs to be identified properly, because this is a group that I would say almost rivals the city of Los Angeles in pernicious lawsuits against it. This is a group that if anybody has had any dealings with them, and full disclosure, team, I am a Blue Shield member, and they are they're better than Anthem, but they are not good. They are not good. In fact, they're being pursued aggressively by regulators. So that's why it makes sense for Mike Feuer to take this money. But what does not make sense, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Akala, you're there, but Ms. Ramirez? And Mr. Akala, you're after her.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an epidemic of gang epidemic and wetback violence epidemic. And yet no one has been addressing that. And we do thank Blue Shield Foundation of California for donating amount of $5,000 for the violence of prevention and also domestic violence and gang violence. Now, I'm just curious, how is the money going to be divided? And it says prevention, coalition. Does that mean that a violent act has to happen before they can kick in the money? Or how is the money going to be used? Is it before the violence or after the violence? So that's an important, situation. You're going to wait till somebody kicks somebody's ass and then use the money, or before. We would hope that, again, LAPD starts up to take task force and starts to do something before a violent act occurs. We need the LAPD and the Sheriff's Department.
Let's get back on the subject, Ms. Ramirez.
Again, domestic violence and gang prevention, okay? We have a gang epidemic. We're not addressing it. And from what I've come to realize living on the streets as a homeless person, is that every business, including the city, is an offshoot of the gangs. They are run by the gangs. So again, those innocent people like me are not gang affiliated. We won't be able to partake from that $5,000 should somebody kick my ass or kill me. Don't you wish? But again, President Herb Wesson, I ask, how is the money going to be used? And we've got to start a new page on preventing and getting rid of these gangs. Stop serving these gangs, stop working for these gangs, stop pandering to these gangs. Release yourselves and free yourselves. Right, free yourselves from them.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Akala, followed by Mr. Herman.
I was on a very important phone call, but I'll take time to talk about this. $5,000, it's a drop in the bucket for a violent city. It really is. A drop in a bucket. You know how little that is? You know how violent this city is? Everywhere I go around the city, somebody wants to kick my ass. And the only reason is that I tell the truth.
Speak to the subject.
Yeah, I speak to truth to power.
It's about a grant award of $5,000, Mr. Akala.
Yeah, I know. A grant award to prevent violence, right? But can we, the speakers, get that money? Because we always
You're off the subject. Thank you again, sir. Mr. Herman, please come forward. I don't see Mr. Herman. Let's prepare to vote. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and reconsider items 18 and 19. If we can open the roll for reconsideration, close the roll, and tabulate the vote. Okay, we're going to
15 ayes.
Great. We're going to go ahead and continue. Actually, 17 also now. 17, 18, and 19. I'll finish those first, then we'll... Okay. 18 and 19 will continue till Wednesday the 19th? August 26th is your preference? All right. We'll let the clerk call the date. So August 26th, without objection, that'll be the order for the continuation on 18 and 19. Now 17, we'll go ahead and continue that until the 19th. Okay, that'll be the order without objection.
That's Tuesday, August 19th, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, Wednesday, August 19th.
Wednesday, yes.
Very good.
The 19th, correct. Thank you. Okay, next item, please. All right, now we're going to call item 34. It is a closed session item, but we have two cards on closed session. John Walsh.
At HollywoodHighlands.org. This is they're going to go in the back. This is interesting. This isn't just some run-of-the-mill payout for police brutality, which we lead the nation in the amount of money we pay out here for police brutality. This concerns Rohanan Gomez Arisa versus the city of Los Angeles. Involves a lawsuit alleging personal injury. Well, this guy didn't just slip on a banana peel. He says resulting from an alleged civil rights violation. Now, if this guy was black, they can murder him in the street. No one gives a damn. But you remember, if you're white, that's all right. If you're brown, you can stay around. But if you're black, stay back, stay back, stay back. Civil rights song, I don't think anybody up here has ever heard, any white boy up here, all 15 of you. And what we want to see right now is what was the civil rights violation.
Thank you. Wanakala?
I pass because I want to speak on number 1.
Okay. All righty. You can pass. Seeing no other speakers, we are going to go ahead and recess into closed session. So if we can ask the sergeants to clear the council chambers, members of the public, if you can step out. We're probably going to be in closed session for a while on this case, so feel free to make yourself comfortable if you wish to come.
Well, we have left your liens and general public comments, so we should be out of here.
Yeah, so he should be able to do press conference.
No, that's why we continued on the humble stuff.
And then, oh, sorry, sir. Sorry.
So what am I doing? Okay, we're back in open session. Mr. Clerk, why don't you give us an instruction? Yeah, go ahead.
Pardon me, sir. For item 34, in the case entitled Royan Gomez Iriza et al. Versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend $15 million in settlement.
Okay, on that item, let's vote. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
You want to item 17, or which? Okay,
Mr. There is a request to continue items 1E, 1J, and 1R to August 26.
Okay, without objection, that'll be the order. That leaves us with what?
That leaves us with the balance of items remaining under item number 1.
Okay, so why don't we go to Mr. Akala? Mr. Englander.
I'm sorry, 1-0, if we can continue 1-0 for 2 weeks.
1-0, a 2-week continuance, Mr. Clerk, per Mr. Englander.
Very good, sir, and that's August 26.
Okay, so Mr. Akala.
Can you give me the times taken from me? I had 2 minutes on this one.
And what does he have? 1 minute. So go ahead, Mr. Akala.
I don't know how you do it. Item 1, liens. If you're a sucker, stupid enough to buy a home, this is what you're facing. You're facing City Hall with North Avenue, a lien for $3,000. Do you have it? No. We're going to sell your house, you idiot. A lien for $1,270 in North Los Angeles. A lien for $1,491. Lien for $1,400. Lien for $1,075. A lien for $1,000. A lien for $3,000. A lien for $5,000. A lien for $6,000. A lien for $3,000. A lien for $3,000. A lien for $1,000. A lien for a lien for this, a lien for that, a lien for a lien for everything. You idiots!
Thank you, thank you. So if we could get Miss Ramirez, please come forward, followed by Mr. Herman.
Thank you very
You have
much.
1 minute.
The city must conduct its business. Even if you've got wetbacks and gangbangers who owe liens, you stick it to them. They do not get any preferential treatment, no more than any.
But this is not general public comment. This is on the item 1.
Yeah, again, number 1, the nuisance abatement. Again, you have code violations being, again, you have code violations and nuisance abatements committed by these gangbangers and wetbacks all the time. Toxic noise all the time. And yet it's a cat and mouse game done by building and safety and all the code enforcement agencies for the city. And they can't seem to get through to these Latinos and gangbangers. And again,
Stay
we're
on the subject.
demanding, city, that you enforce the rule of law, and that is by conducting these inspections against these code violations. Again, it affects the city as a whole if these code violations are not inspected and they are not compliant. They are not above the law.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Mr. Herman, okay, I don't see him. That ends public comment on this item. If we could open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Let's go general public comment now. Mr. Herman is not here. Terry Reed, please come forward, and John Walsh.
Okay. This is an important announcement. The event nearing the end of our journey. God's Will Be Done, where? On the corner of Martin Luther King Boulevard and Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles. When? Tomorrow, Thursday, August 12, 2015. Time, 4 p.m. until. Offering deliverance, casting out the demons, releasing the captives from bondage, plus salvation, redemption from sin through the blood of Jesus Christ. Those in need of deliverance, please attend. God's mercy and love await you. I'm requesting the presence of KJLH to continuously play Holy, Holy by Marvin Gaye. Everyone is welcome. My name is Terry Reed. I am a female, descendant of Ethiopian Jews from the tribe of Judah in the bloodline of Jesus Christ.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh at HollywoodHighlands.org. In case you missed it out there, a 15-year-old boy was shot dead in cold blood a few years ago by the LAPD. The Hispanic community doesn't make a big deal out of it. They don't care about the blood of their own people. Black community does care about the blood of their own people. Right now, a few minutes ago, the city of Los Angeles settled for $15 million. They didn't kill him, they paralyzed him. And the cop that shot that boy, he was 15 years old, Ryan Gomez Arisa, he's still out there in the street. And Charlie Beck says it was in policy. So I want you to know from now on, I want the cops to know you can kill any Hispanic you want and get away with it, but you goddamn well won't do it to any black.
Okay, if I could have Mr. Previn, Ms. Ramirez, and Ms. Sarnoff, Ruth Sarnoff. So, Ms. Ramirez, you want to just come on?
I'd like to report LAPD officer R. Jaramillo and J. Perez. They always seem to downplay every time I come and complain about anything. During a recess, about 11:30, I went downstairs to the second floor by Homeboy to get chips and soda. I mind my own business. I buy my purchase, and I go sit at a table. Then I get a little a rude, obnoxious, obstreperous Asian young girl who keeps walking back and forth, sticking the cell phone in my face. And then when she sits down, aiming at me, I then said to her, "Could you please not aim the cell phone at me, please? I like my privacy just for a few minutes." And she says, oh my God, I'm not doing it." I said, "Look, I don't aim the cell phone at you." She goes, "Well, I'm not aiming it." And so it goes back and forth. And then next thing you know, she goes with and huddles with the other. She's a city employee, by the way. She huddles with a Homeboy, others, and other gangbangers. So then Officer Jaramillo comes down and Perez and tells me to mind my own business. Again, he's politically pandering because she's Asian, and he tells me not to bother her since I'm the one that's, again, gang stalking.
Thank you. So if I could get Mr. Previn, followed by Ms. Sarnoff. I'm going to get you, Mr. Akala. Go right ahead.
Thank you, sir. It is Eric Previn, a resident from CD2. And I was very concerned that I put in a card on item 34, the closed session, about the $15 million settlement. And that seemed like new information. When it came out, Mr. O'Connell apparently has decided that comment had been taken in advance of the revelation of that robust number. That number, by the way, was $24 million in the NBC News some while ago. I guess it must have been either appealed or it's a secondary suit. I don't know. It's a very sad story, and of course our hearts go out to the families on all sides of that terrible matter. Sir, can you see me today, or is it difficult to get a read? Council Rule 93, sir, as I think you do recall, is a rule that was put in place some time ago, and it had to do with the feeling that the meeting should be equitable, and that they foresaw that somebody could use the bully pulpit, like you or Mr. England or Ms. Martinez, to reduce the size of the public or others willy-nilly. And Mr. Hunt and $1 million and plus spent on this body, by this body, to fight that guy aside.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. Ms. Cernoff, followed by Mr. Akala, followed by Mr. Marine. Welcome.
Ruth Sarnoff, I wanted to bring to your attention the fact that Caltrans just got dinged for $10 million because of the environmental damage done to tenants. Caltrans is the landlord for all of the real estate that is awaiting transit use or potential transit use. And this baby is scarred for life after 2 inspections where they failed to come and correct the matter. It was peeling lead paint. I think there should be a quality audit of Caltrans to protect the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Akala.
I want to reiterate, Mr. President, that you're not going to get me because I'm not gay. You said you were going to get me. No, you're not. As far as Donald Trump, whatever billions he's got, he can roll him up and shove him up his ass, which is very appropriate for a racist pig like him. We Mexicans resent all the shit that he said about us, and we're going to throw it back at his face. But that's what he wants. He likes to muddle in shit. Donald Trump, come and get me. Come and get me, Donald. Fuck you, Donald.
This is not within the subject matter of the city.
And I wish to speak against Donald Trump and you, city attorney. You look like the monopoly man, you SOB.
Yes, government records show that on October 26, 2010, the city attorneys serving Mr. Carmen Tutanich, which was Dion Roberts, Pete Escavera, and Mary Jo Kerwin, proved live and in color on Channel 35 that the colleagues of Mr. Rosenthal lacked the wherewithal to understand that using money as described in MOUs was illegal. Yet you continue to do it. So the successors of Mr. Rosenthal and our new mayor are still illegally using the money of the people for the benefit of we the people and not accounting for it. And consequently, we get no longer get CRA funding because a bunch of stupid asses is running our city. So wise up, dumb bastards.
Okay, do we have a Paul Kraminski? No. A Mr. Spindler?
Yes, join us Friday as the CD7 movie studio is going to be built in the middle of the Last Horse Ranch area of Los Angeles. That's because Shadow Hills and the white area of CD7 are not represented. They're oppressed, ruled over by a racist that does not allow white homeowners to live peacefully. Campaign donors are coming into that area to build this large building and this movie studio, piece of crap, in the middle of this nice ranch area. And they are going to ram this through on Friday. So if you're out there, anywhere up there, Shadow Hills, Sylmar, you're an equestrian, get down here Friday and watch Mr. Fuentes, the racist pig, ram this through that area.
That concludes general public comment. Mr. Clerk, what's before this body?
Mr. President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted and referred.
The desk is clear.
Thank you. Announcements. Announcements, members. If I could ask everyone to please rise. Please rise for adjourning motions. I'm going to first look to my left, which is the Harris Dawson side. I don't see any on that side. I'm going to now look to my right, which is the Krikorian side. Any adjourning motions to my right? I don't see any. Members, see you on Friday. This meeting. Whoa, 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 whoa. You just made it in. Mr. Buscaina.
Sorry, he's in the men's room. If I may, colleagues, like to adjourn quickly in memory of Giuseppe Gambino. Passed away July in Long Beach, born September 26, 1972 in San Pedro, survived by his loving parents, Gaetano and Rosario, his brother Manuel, and sister Maria, who is one of our dedicated LAPD detention officers. Giuseppe leaves behind his loving wife and 2 sons, taken away from us way too soon. Mass was held yesterday at All Souls Mortuary Chapel in Long Beach, and the burial was also there, held in All Souls. May he rest in peace. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. Members, this meeting is adjourned.